What's up everyone, Coco Mojo here with another Resto Druid VOD review. This was a 2-chested 17 Tyrannical Mists run that I did with my DPS friends, the Enhancement Shaman and the Warlock, and then a couple of pugs. So starting off here, we are going to grab the Spike Claws and just go right in to this tree pack. My goal here is to get some damage going on the tree, and then be ready to dispel the tank quickly, and then get some healing rolling, and basically hopefully spend some time in cat form doing some swiping. But our squad is taking some damn, so I have to spend a decent amount of time focusing on them. It's also a Spiteful week, so we have some people getting hit by Spitefuls. So for this key, I'm running Necro with the Circle of Life and Death legendary. My goal is to, for DPS, try to get my Adaptive Swarm spread on as many mobs as I can, and then also be keeping Windfire and Sunfire up on everything, and then trying to get Rake up on as many mobs as possible as well. I feel like the biggest problem I have with this build is you are so global starved. It's crazy. Like the reduced, like the compressed duration of all of your hots and dots means that you're just spending way more time actually like casting things, and yeah, the effect is stronger, but it just feels like I don't have enough time to press all the buttons that I want to be pressing. And it's not the end of the world. It definitely feels strong, and when I can do a decent job of managing my Adaptive Storm, the damage is actually like pretty solid. Like the sustained DPS in particular is quite good. You won't burst the same way that like a you know, Convoking Owl Affinity Druid can, or even Convoking Feral Affinity. And the sustain DPS in single target isn't quite as high as the Draft of Deep Focus legendary, but you gain a lot in terms of healing throughput, right? You're getting basically you know, 15% increased healing throughput from this legendary, in addition to the 25% damage throughput on everything, not just the one target. So it overall feels like a better trade-off in terms of throughput, both for healing and damage, at the cost of just needing to spend way more time, you know, setting up your damage and healing. But it's been really fun to experiment with. So here, my goal is to get the damage rolling on the tree, and then heal through all of the Spirit Bolts that aren't getting kicked. And then I'm just going to get some damage going on everything else. What we want to do here is save the and kill it with the tree, because that helps our Enhancement Shaman a ton. Because it's going to be giving him a really short cooldown on Lavalash, and his build is all about getting buffs on Lavalash and spamming that. So we unfortunately killed the tree a little bit early. It's not the end of the world, but it wasn't great. We get the Embrace Darkness, but everyone's like pretty healthy. And unfortunately I don't have an Adaptive Swarm off cooldown for this guy, but one of them jumps to him right after I get all of my dots going. So let's see. I'm doing okay damage here, up to about 9k DPS on this boss. I think we make the decision to kill the tree because we see we still have 1.7 million HP to go through on the boss, and we're not really convinced that we can do that much damage outside of cooldowns without the burn phase. And maybe that was a mistake, because I'm seeing now that at least someone's hitting the boss, and they've already done 300,000 damage to the boss. So, but we're on track to kill this tree. And again, I'm just getting all of my dots going on the tree and trying to make sure that I'm healing through all the bolts. Yeah, trying to keep people topped for these bolts is definitely important. This time I do have an adaptive swarm that jumps to him, and I just reapply it. Maybe that was overkill. Probably didn't need to reapply there. Actually, probably would have been better to... Oh, it's actually not the end of the world, because it jumped to 2 of us, and now we have 2 4-stack swarms rolling on the team. And now we're up to 3-stack swarms on everyone. The RNG of this is definitely tough to work around, I think. I'm doing a bad job of like actually watching the stacks and managing them well. That's like my biggest problem right now is I'm like right now I don't have it. What did I just apply it to? I applied it to one of these guys and then it jumped to our shaman. So now he has a 4-stack swarm. And now let's see, does it spread to more than 1? It spread to 2. So what I should be doing here is applying it to one of these guys that has a 3-stack swarm. Or now to my hunter with a 2-stack swarm. But instead I applied it to like one of those random mobs, and then it jumped just to my shaman. And now I have a random 2-stack swarm, and now a bunch of 1-stack swarms, and so I'm definitely not good at the minigame. Like right now I should be refreshing it on one of these guys, because they're about to all go away, and I just lost all of my swarms. So I think like one of the main takeaways for me this key, and we'll see it a little bit later, where I almost on accident end up managing the swarms well, and I end up doing like a 9k DPS just by like multi-dotting, and like I'm like not even really trying that hard to do damage. It just happened to be that the swarms all went to the mobs, and we had a ton of swarms on the team, and it was like pretty free. But yeah, I'm also losing some swarm uptime right now. Alright, so I get that one out. And now I'm just gonna be spamming some swipes, trying to keep the dots rolling. Oh, I have Heart of the Wilds. I think we have a single target fight coming up though, and I should probably hold the Heart of the Wild for that. But here we've got another case where I have Adaptive Swarm off cooldown, and I should be pressing it. So no single target fight here. And then I should be getting the Adaptive Swarm going, but I'm not for some reason. Yeah, I'm definitely, I lost a lot of swarm value there, just by not pressing it immediately. That's definitely a bummer. Because now I don't think that I will be able to refresh that one swarm. But here I have Ruby, Swarm, get all my dots up. Get all my dots on the as well. And now I'm like, just like a 2-target fight, and I'm doing 7k DPS. Like, I mean, it's not crazy. It's not like a, you know, Priest Boon, or like the AoE of like a Resto Shaman, but like there's nothing about this build that's preventing me from doing this every pull, right? Except for my own management, or I guess in this case mismanagement of the Adaptive Swarm. So on this boss, one of my main goals is to help with CCing the Fox. It is a huge pain for the DPS, especially when you have a melee heavy comp like ours. We have 2 melee DPS, and if the Fox spawns in melee, then like right now, no one can do boss damage. So we get the one root, someone had stunned it, and unfortunately the adaptive storm was on it, and it looks like it maybe broke the root. Or maybe there was a dot or other player's dot or something like that on it. Only flower in this case. The intermission is where pretty much all of the healing is going to happen in this fight. So ideally you spread a few rejuves before the intermission, and then you can swift mend into wild growth, into flourish, or tranquility. I was a little late, so I pretty much just wild growth. I didn't end up getting a swift mend, so that's okay. But overall, this boss is like pretty chill as long as the fox doesn't spawn in like awful spots. And then like this fox, what is this fox? Looks like only flower again. We all go and start hitting the flower. I should have used Ursul's Vortex on that. I think that would have been helpful. And at this point, I might just be spamming roots on that fox. We have kind of a late lust because it just came off cooldown. But you can see I'm like not even really healing the tank. Like part of it is they're a demon hunter, so they have a lot of self-healing. But so let's see. I should. Okay, it looks like I'm prioritizing getting some damage onto the clone, then wild growth, and then I'm just gonna trank. Okay, I don't hate that trank. Just keeps everyone topped. The not gonna really need it later on. Boss is pretty much over. So coming in here, we are going to be getting our damage onto the Staghorn, and then that's pretty much it. Just spreading dots, trying to heal the players with that volatile acid on them. Well, that guy got one banged. What did he get hit by? I think he got hit by the Earth Slam. I hate to see it. I see that shade is targeting our shaman, so I end up stunning it. We're gonna do the double pull here, and what I should do is put Adaptive Swarm on my Warlock, because then it's going to spread more of these mobs. Also, this is where my brain lags. I remember this. I dodge one and then just run into another, and yeah, not ideal. Well, luckily everyone is like in decent shape. We killed the oh wait, we killed a woe. That's a choice. But yeah, at this point we are just gonna pull big. It's looking like the 2 chest is doable. So, oh, we need to kick on that guy. That is a little unfortunate. Looks like our shaman died to maybe the Earth Slam or full threat. I'm not sure. But it's times like this where you have all of these swarms on your team, and the healing is feeling pretty good. This is actually a little spicy. I should press Iron Bark. Okay, he's in meta, so he's okay now, but that's definitely where an Iron Bark would be valuable. Yeah, looks like I put the swarm on him. I don't hate that on the tank. That's the other thing with the adaptive swarm build. You have not only like good sustained multi-dot damage, but you also have just like insanely good single target healing. If you're putting that adaptive swarm on your tank, then that ends up being really strong. And if you're able to manage the spreading of adaptive swarms, then you'll end up with insanely good group healing too. I mean, the swarm itself does some solid healing, but that baseline 25% buff. Here I give our hunter Stampeding Roar so he can get away with the Mind Blink a little bit faster. But yeah, that 25% increased effectiveness on periodic effects is really good. I'd like to see me get Adaptive Swarm on cooldown. Okay. Alright, I don't hate that. So one tip here, actually, and I didn't do it, but is to target the boss when you press Wild Growth, and it will apply Wild Growth to any players that are within range of the boss. This fight in particular, there's like this weird mix of stacking on the boss and then spreading when all of the puddles go out, but then you're encouraged to come together to manage the ads, and there's like a lot of like conflicting requirements here. So yeah, being able to take advantage of the fact that everyone is going to be pretty close to the boss, at least at some point, is worthwhile. Oh, our Warlock was in rough shape there. He's fixated. You see here, my Shaman is just like so far away. I get a 5-stack swarm going on the boss. Uh-oh. Mind Link on bolts. You're in rough shape. So I end up using a health stone. I Iron Bark, or rather Bark Skin, when these ads come out. And now here I should be... Okay, so I dropped the Ursals. I think that's a good Ursals. I really want to keep them grouped up. But here I'm just going to run out to Narnia.
Your actions are easy to anticipate.
At this point we're just like, we're chilling. You know, I'm far enough away that Mind Link isn't too scary. These guys are gonna fixate on me, and I don't have Bark Skin, so I just go into bear form. Like, I'm like, go ahead, let them hit me. I don't even care. At this point, I can tank them forever until I get the Mind Link on me. But yeah, that was a fun key. The 2 chest was pretty good. The damage overall was okay. 4.3 is not great. For me, I would like to see that higher. But I definitely made a lot of mistakes, in particular with the adaptive swarm. I need to put a lot of reps in, I think, to get better at managing the adaptive swarm. I've been jumping around between all of the different covenants quite a lot, just playing a lot of different things for the sake of variety and fun. but it's definitely impacted my ability to optimize this one covenant, and I feel like this one covenant has a ton of potential. So I definitely am looking forward to practicing this build more. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts about the content, any suggestions, ideas for things you want to see, definitely feel free to let me know in the comments or in the Discord. And if you like the video, please consider subscribing and liking. It really helps me out, lets me know you're enjoying the content, and will help me reach more people on YouTube as well. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.